Okay, square number 10 is called V's and shells. And so the pattern is going to involve doing V's and doing shells. Now, when you're reading in your instructions and it says to do a V stitch is equal to a double crochet, a chain one, and a double crochet. That's what V stitch means. Shell means you do 5 double crochets in the same stitch. So when you're reading along and it says V stitch in the next stitch, you go to that next stitch and you do this. Double crochet, chain one, double crochet. So what I've done so far is I followed the instructions. You can see row 1 is chain 31. I have chained 31. And then I turned and I did a double crochet in the 4th stitch. And first 3 chains, that counts as the first double crochet. And then you double crochet all the way across. I did that. And that should be 29 double crochets. So I counted them, counting this first chain, the 3 chains, and then I counted all the way across and I come to 29. So now I'm ready to start row 3 where the pattern is going to emerge. So let's get started. We're going to turn, pull this around here. We're going to turn and row 3 starts with 3 chains. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next stitch. That's this stitch right here. We're going to skip this and then we're going to do a V. Remember, a V is a double crochet. You remember how to do the double crochet. Chain 1 and then another double crochet. Yarn over. Back in that same stitch. The V is done all in the same stitch. So there, I've done a V. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Row 3, next instruction is to skip the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip those 3. And then we're going to do a shell right here. Remember what a shell is? A shell is 5 double crochet. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do 1. Whoops. A needle popped out there. And then I'm going to do 2. 3, all in this same stitch. I'm keep going in the same stitch. 4, still in that same stitch. And then my last double crochet is the 5th one, again in that same stitch. So I've done 5 double crochets all in one stitch. So you see what's emerging. V, this is the V stitch that I did. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then you skip the next 3 stitches. I skipped 1, 2, 3, and then I did 5 double crochets here. I did a shell. Now, instructions say skip the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do a V here. Then we'll skip 3 and we'll do a shell. Skip 3, V. Skip 3, shell. Skip 3, V. And then at the end of that row, it says you do a double crochet in the last stitch. You'll have 2 stitches left and you'll skip that one and you'll do a double crochet in the end. And then you turn and you do the same thing across. And you'll be doing the V's and shells all the way. Okay, I have finished up this row. You saw me do the V and the shell. Well, I've done V, shell, V, shell, V all the way across. You'll notice with this last V, I skipped a stitch and did 1 double crochet on the end. Now I'm ready to do row 4. And row 4 is simply double crochets all the way across. And you do a double crochet. First you start with chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you do double crochets in every stitch across and in every chain space. So I'm going to go in here, and then the chain space. Remember, the chain space is between the V. Don't go in this space. The chain space is at the top of the V. So I'll go here, 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 and then in all of these stitches, and then the chain space. So let's get that started. And you remember the double crochet, yarn over. I'm going in this very first stitch. I'm going to do a double crochet. And then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. And now here I am at the chain space. You see there's the V there, and here's the chain space. So I'm going to go into the chain space to do my next double crochet. Then I go into the next stitch, which is right here. And you keep on going across with double crochets the whole way, every stitch and every chain space. And you'll keep going. And when you get to the end, you'll have 27. Just like you had 27 on this first row here, you'll have 27 on this row at the end. Then you will turn and repeat rows 3, 4, and 5 across. You'll do row 5, then follow the instructions carefully, and you'll be doing shells and V-stitches across, then double crochets across, shells and V's, double crochets, back and forth till you finish your square.